Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some really fun viewer-submitted battles in the Open Ultra League featuring DOUSE Drive Genesect. Despite being a bug steel type and taking double super effective damage from fire moves, DOUSE Drive Genesect actually beats Talonflame in the Zero Shield thanks to water type Technoblast, which makes it a very fun save swap. This is not a team I'd recommend for climbing rank, but these are some incredibly fun battles. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and let's take a look at DOUSE Drive Genesect in action. Hopping to the first match, picking up a terrible lead Giratina into Shadow Abomasnow, save switch into the DOUSE Drive Genesect, and in comes Talonflame. And the question is, do they know it's DOUSE Drive? Going for the Technoblast. Technoblast one-shots the Talonflame, and Genesect is able to absolutely banish a fire type. In comes Altaria looking for the farm down, but Genesect is not done. Able to get off another Technoblast, which does some respectable damage for a resisted move, and even able to get to an X-Scissor. This X-Scissor should be getting them below half health, so Genesect putting in a ton of work, and you definitely just bring in Giratina here to soak damage, and from here, the Shadow Scissor in the back should be able to close strong. They bring in the Shadow Abomasnow, and Shadow Scissor absolutely walls the Abomasnow. The opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Hopping into the next match and picking up another Abomasnow lead, which is absolutely terrible. Gonna save switch into the Genesect again and met with Gyarados. Now Gyarados, I imagine, is pretty rough. All charge moves from Genesect are going to be resisted, but that Technoblast still hits so hard. Oh my goodness. And now Genesect shielding up, so it looks like he's going to try and make a play for switch advantage, farming up a ton and going for the bait, hoping that the threat of a Technoblast can force a shield, which it does. So able to get the shield with the bait, and now going for another X-Scissor, but not even building up this time, but able to get the second shield. I think he's going to be able to outpace here. The opposing Gyarados goes for Crunch again, defense falls, but Genesect is able to reach the third X-Scissor. X-Scissor will be taking out the Gyarados, and Genesect somehow wins switch against a Gyarados. Abomasnow throwing right away to take out the Genesect, but there's more bug steel where that came from. In comes Shadow Scissor, and it has a ton of play against the remaining two Pokemon. Night Slash is going to be doing some big damage, and Scizor is going to be resisting all charge moves from Cresselia. At this point, the Giratina is dead weight, so you probably just try and do a sack swap to get rid of it at some point. Switches in the Giratina, and the Cresselia does throw. This is very, very nice, and at this point, you can basically just farm up. The Dragon Breaths will be chunking. If you notice, this battler does run an attack-weighted Giratina, specifically because it does extra Dragon Breath damage in a lot of matches. The Cresselia goes for a Grass Knot, so I imagine they're looking to maybe farm down with the Abomasnow, but either way, it's not going to be a great play because these Dragon Breaths are absolutely chunking. Again, having that attack-weighted Giratina can be very nice if you're running Dragon Breath. This forces the Abomasnow to throw energy they're not able to farm down, and from here, Shadow Scissor is going to be able to clean up. Going for the X-Scissor. X-Scissor will be taking out the Cresselia, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, and the bad leads continue with Alolan Muck. Going to save switch into Genesect. Fortunately, this is Poison Jab Alolan Muck, which is less bad, but if it's Poison Jab, it's probably running Acid Spray. The opponent goes for the debuff, and they bring in Giratina. Unfortunately, Giratina does resist all of Genesect's charge moves. The Technoblast is still the way to go, as even when resisted, Technoblast does some considerable damage. Going for the second Technoblast, and that almost puts the Giratina into the red. Oh my goodness. Giratina goes for the Resist the Dragon Claw, and they're actually able to get a little bit of extra farm. So a pretty nice play there by the opponent, as this may allow them to reach a second Dragon Claw. Giratina going for the farm down. Can they get there? They cannot. Unfortunately, not able to farm down. The opponent gets to a second Dragon Claw, which is rough. Fortunately, the Giratina is very close to a Dragon Claw of their own, so if the Alolan Muck comes back in, they will be able to reach a move, but it's Sylveon. Able to reach a Shadow Sneak, which will do some solid chip damage, and now you just have to trust in Shadow Scissor, as it should have a ton of play. The Sylveon switches out, back in comes the Alolan Muck. Just going for the Night Slash, hoping for a shield or the boost. Unfortunately gets neither, but with shields up, my guess is the Alolan Muck will just go straight Acid Spray in this matchup, which could make things difficult. Able to get a shield with the Night Slash, which is very nice. You have to shield this even though it's almost assuredly an Acid Spray, because a Dark Pulse would be game over. Able to get to another Night Slash. This should be getting the final shield, which is very nice. And able to get the boost. Okay, maybe there's a chance here, but this is still going to be very tough, as now their defense is 4 stages debuffed. They're able to farm down. Back in comes the Sylveon. That Charm does so much, and a second one snuck through. This is looking very rough. Night Slash does big damage. They defer the Charm onto the Giratina. Scizor comes back in and able to farm down. What a play to close out that match. Oh my goodness. Hopping into the next match. A pretty decent lead Giratina into Cresselia, but you just have 2 better responses in the back. So you save switch into Genesect, tank the Grass Knot, and in comes the Talonflame. Does Talonflame know about Techno Blast? Techno Blast plus a Fury Cutter, able to take them out, and the Talonflame gets absolutely banished. Back in comes Cresselia, but Cresselia is not going to appreciate these X-Scissors, as unfortunately Genesect is very, very spammy. Fury Cutter charges very quickly, and Genesect almost able to take out 2 full Pokemon. They go for the Grass Knot there, and at this point you can honestly go in with either Pokemon to get an energy lead. Brings in the Giratina. Giratina able to farm down. And it is Registeel in the back, and this game is over. Giratina, even with Dragon Breath, puts up a heck of a fight against Registeel. Lands the Shadow Sneak. Goes for the catch and able to catch the Flash Cannon onto Shadow Scizor. What a play. Oh my goodness. And even despite some lag, Shadow Scizor is going to be able to reach the Night Slash. Night Slash will be putting in some solid damage onto the Registeel. And at this point, no shields have been used in the match. It feels almost rude to shield at this point. Brings back in the Giratina. And now, do you go for the farm down here? I mean, no shields have been used. So at this point, I think you have to commit to the farm down. Flash Cannon comes through. Giratina going for the farm down. Are they going to be able to get the Force Shield Flex? Which they are. Very nicely done. And that is a good game. Hopping to the next match and picking up a very nice lead in Talonflame. Due to the Giratina being attack weighted, it does do an extra Dragon Breath damage per turn here, which is very nice. Unfortunately, tried to CMP tie on the Brave Bird. The Talonflame did not throw on 3, and the extra Incinerate did sneak through. Brave Bird lands, opponent save switches into Registeel, and is met with Genesect. Unfortunately, that Talonflame still has a decent amount of health, so if they're unable to win switch in this matchup, that could be rough with the 2 Bug Steel types in the back. Focus Blast coming through from Registeel, and that does big damage onto the Genesect. But Genesect will be able to reach a Techno Blast, and Techno Blast will be hitting back hard in retaliation. Unfortunately, Registeel does shield, and it doesn't look like Genesect is going to be able to win switch, so instead they opt to let it go down, and hopefully they can get an energy lead on the Shadow Scizor. They bring in the Scizor here. Scizor, Night Slash will not KO here, but will hopefully put it into Bullet Punch farm down range. They land the Night Slash, and here comes the Focus Blast from the Registeel. Deciding to shield it up, it is the Focus Blast, and now this is going to be a very aggressive farm down. Can they get there? Oh, they cannot get there. They're forced to catch onto the Giratina. Unfortunately, the Registeel had only gotten to a Flash Cannon, but with Giratina basically dead, even though there's a Cresselia in the back, the fact that there's a Talonflame alive and you only have Shadow Scizor left, things are looking very, very rough. A boost here would be very, very clutch. You kind of have to shield and try and preserve health because you know Talonflame is arriving at some point. So you basically just have to cap energy every time and then just try and get the energy off onto the Talonflame as soon as it arrives. Night Slash comes through, and in comes the Talonflame. Going for the Night Slash. Night Slash gets the shield. Over farms. Unfortunately, the Incinerate registers, and now they're so low. Can they get to the next Night Slash here? This is going to be very close. They farm down, and they get farmed down by the Cresselia. Incredibly close match, but unfortunately, Talonflame on a Bug Steel type not named Genesect is going to be a pretty tough game. Hopping into the next match, and it's the Dragon Breath Giratina Mirror. This lead is actually a bit awkward for this team. Typically for ABB style teams with neutral leads, you do want to swap out. But in this particular case, Genesect doesn't have a great matchup against Giratina, so you definitely want to get some chip damage before you eventually switch out, which they do right here, able to catch the Dragon Claw, a very nice play. No fire type in the back, but baits out an Empoleon. Unfortunately, Empoleon will still wall Genesect, but as we've seen, even a resisted Technoblast hits very hard. Empoleon respects it, puts up the shield, Genesect able to reach another Technoblast, and this will be doing some big damage onto the Empoleon, getting it below half health. Now the worry here is Empoleon has a ton of energy. I believe they have the back-to-back Drill Pecks. Giratina does tank one, but the second would be taking them out. They throw back-to-back, and that would be an ambitious bullet punch down. So going to shield up, and now going to get that ever-important Dragon Breath damage. The opponent tries to snipe with their own Giratina, but he reads the swap, saves the Giratina, and bullet punches down with Shadow Scizor. Does the Empoleon come back in, or do we see the third? It's the third, and it's Cresselia. And even down a shield, Shadow Scizor absolutely eats Cresselia. Lands the first Night Slash, that does big damage. Makes sense the Cresselia would not want to shield the first one in case it got the boost. Cresselia opting to let the second one go as well. Shadow Scizor can tank any one move here. Moonblast, that is totally fine. Shadow Scizor farming up as much as they can and now going for the Night Slash that will KO or get the final shield. They decide to let it go. They switch back into the Giratina. The Giratina's on very low health, but it does have 2 Dragon Claws loaded, able to get the shield, and the second Dragon Claw will be taking out Empoleon. Very well played, avoided the snipe and saved the energy, and it was very useful in the end game. Hopping into the next match, an instant save switch into Genesect, and the Armor Mewtwo is not switching out. Thanks to Fury Cutter, Genesect is easily able to outpace Armor Mewtwo and force a shield with the X-Scissor. I believe they are short of a Dynamic Punch. He calls it, just the Side Strike, and now in comes Registeel. As we've seen, Registeel is a bit of a tough matchup in even shields for DOUSE Drive Genesect, but up a shield, I believe Genesect should actually be able to win switch here. The Registeel can probably just go straight Flash Cannon, but again, having that extra shield will allow the Genesect to apply a ton of pressure onto the Registeel. Another Technoblast coming through, and this does get the last shield, so the Registeel recognizes it, and they are trying to make a play for switch as well, but that's going to be quite tough for them, as Genesect will actually even be able to overfarm here. The opponent tries to catch onto Armor Mewtwo, but Genesect will be able to land these X-Scissors. First X-Scissor comes through, second X-Scissor will be taking them out. So a very nice read there, able to take care of the Armor Mewtwo. Back in comes Registeel, and now he's able to align the Registeel onto the Giratina. This is a slightly worse matchup than usual, just because Dragon Breath instead of Shadow Claw, Dragon Breath is going to be neutral, but the Shadow Sneak will still be getting that Registeel quite low, and hopefully into farm down range. Looking for the farm down, just falls short, and Registeel is able to reach a move. Flash Cannon does get them very low, and the final Mon is Poison Jab Alolan Muck. Fortunately, Poison Jab is going to be resisted on the last 2 Mons. Dragon Claw lands, farming up, and able to get to a second Dragon Claw. That is very, very nice. I think here you probably just let the Giratina go down because you do have a potential sack swap with the Genesect, and a beautiful catch! Oh my goodness, very nicely done onto the Dark Pulse. Absolutely fantastic, and back in comes the Shadow Scizor. Scizor can tank a Dark Pulse here. It will hurt quite a bit, but can tank it. They try and catch on Registeel. They fail to catch on Registeel. Now the neutral X-Scissor is coming through. That will take out the Alolan Muck, and that is a good game. Alright, hopping into the next match. We have Dragon Breath Giratina into Sylveon, terrible lead, save switches Genesect, and baits out the Talonflame. Oh, here we go, going for the Technoblast. Do they know? They do not, one-shotting the Talonflame and winning switch advantage, and the opponent has Trevenant in the back, and fortunately will be able to hit for neutral with X-Scissor. Able to actually force a shield with the neutral X-Scissor, and unfortunately just falls short of reaching a second. At this point, you basically just have to use Giratina as a meat shield. Shadow Ball will do a ton of damage, but at this point, that's the best use you're getting out of the Giratina. You don't shield a thing here. You let that go, and you just trust in your Shadow Scizor. The opponent blind swapped Sylveon, and Sylveon is not going to be happy to see this Shadow Scizor. Goes for the Night Slash just to get some extra chip damage, which is very nice. And with that chip damage, should be able to farm down and hopefully leave with close to 2 Night Slashes loaded. And the 2 Night Slashes are going to be more than enough to take out the Trevenant. First Night Slash coming through. Does get the shield. Second Night Slash coming through, and actually going for the X-Scissor, going for a little bit of disrespect there, and able to snipe with the Giratina. So going for the style points in that match, and able to get the win. And hopping in the final match. Okay, we have the Talonflame on the lead this time, so this is not bad at all. This time able to time the CMP tie. Very nicely done. Brave Bird comes through, and now should be able to force a shield since the Talonflame's defense is lowered, but they're stuck in the CMP tie. They switch out into XL Galarian Stunfisk, and you already know it's Technoblast time. Shielding up, unfortunately, just a Rock Slide, but Genesect will be able to apply a ton of pressure with this Technoblast, and I really want to see if it can one-shot a G-Fisk. Unfortunately, G-Fisk is at another move. Has to shield it up. Oh, and it's the Earthquake, so that's a very, very big shield, as that would be doing a ton of damage. And now going for the Technoblast. The question is, does this one-shot Galarian Stunfisk? It takes out the Stunfisk. Back in comes the Talonflame. And Talonflame is going to get one-shot by Technoblast as well. Get out of here, G-Fisk. Get out of here, Talonflame. And it's Cresselia in the back. So this man's whole team gets destroyed by DOUSE Drive Genesect. Genesect able to reach another X-Scissor, and Genesect just by itself takes out 2 3/4 Pokemon. Oh my goodness. They go for the grass not to take out, but at this point, this game is so over. This man had zero response to a DOUSE Drive Genesect, and that cost him dearly as the opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. All in all, some incredibly fun battles with DOUSE Drive Genesect. As I mentioned, it's not necessarily a Pokemon I'd recommend running if you're looking to climb in the ranks, but if you're looking to have some fun and potentially one-shot some Talonflames, this could be a really fun option. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.